There are some things that are just best practices that work, and those things have stood the test of time. But how you do them is is changed now, right? Internal marketing, how you internal market has changed. It's taken on a different structure now. And so with that, we also want to make sure we're innovating. It's one of our core values in our organization is innovation.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business, so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
Welcome back to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
We're honored to be with you, and we're in the midst of a series on the Remarkable Board meetings. If you're just tuning in for the first one here now, we highly recommend you go back and listen to this series. This is part 4, and we did start with an overview even before that. So again, this is an awesome series where we're getting into the different elements of what it looks like on a quarterly basis to meet with your team, to reorganize, to get everybody connected, focused, clear, and accountable for where we're going next and where we're going ultimately. So this is one of those moments where, again, we're going to be talking through marketing. Remember, this is not a marketing meeting. This is marketing as part of the board meeting. And remember, on the last episode, we wrapped with what the question you're answering with your goals is, where are we going, right? If that's what your goals do, is they answer the question, where are we going, right? What are we trying to accomplish? Where are we going? Then the marketing conversation, the marketing question we're answering with the marketing plan, the marketing calendar is, how are we going to get there, right? So a lot of people have goals, but they don't know how they're going to get there. This is a very important conversation, Dr. Stephen. This becomes very tactical. This is where the rubber hits the road. We talked about on the goal setting, how when you set goals, one of the things you have to do is you create SMART goals. SMART is you have to define, like, what are the things that we can do, keyword do, that will drive this outcome? What are the actions, the behaviors that will influence us hitting this outcome? This is that conversation today. So this now becomes, this is where the rubber hits the road. And again, I know you might say, well, Dr. Pete, what about conversion and retention? I understand that's a different conversation. This, again, yes, is very much focused on what are we doing to drive the business forward from marketing. But I'll tell you, Dr. Stephen, my business grows from the inside out. So my marketing plan has a whole lot to do with my patients being cared for, my current active patients being, quote unquote, marketed to through what we're doing in our social pages, what we're doing in our workshops in the office, what we're doing internally. So this has a lot to do with what you're doing internally, externally, and digitally. It's creating alignment, it's creating synergy, it's creating organization on all the tributaries and all the activities and energy that we put out, that ultimately drives the practice growing further, faster. So we want to make sure that you understand that with the marketing meeting, this is not your marketing meeting. This is not just a dedicated marketing time. This is part of the board meeting. It's absolutely essential. And I'm looking forward to digging into this today, Doc. What about you?
Yeah. So, let's take this from pull it way back 30,000 feet. This is the fourth of 4 board meetings that you have every quarter with your entire team present, right? So, and the purpose of these board meetings, as we've stated, is really to create focus, right? So, we can all get caught up in the busyness of the day-to-day, the week-to-week, the month-to-month. It's so critically important that we have a structure in place, a meeting rhythm in place where the whole team gets together, picks up our head, looks around and says, okay, so where were we? Where are we? Where are we going next, right? So this is a critical conversation about last, now, and next that we have to drive as the leadership team. We do 4 conversations. The first one is remarkable vision casting, which is, what does success look like to us, right? So then there's remarkable product and process, which is, hey, what's for sale here and how are we delivering that value, right? And number 3, which was our last episode, which we talked about remarkable marketing machine, remarkable goal setting, which is, where are we going? Today, we're focusing on remarkable marketing machine, which is, how are we going to get there, right? So it's a high level deep dive on, high level all the way to a deep dive down to the ground on what you're going to be doing for your marketing plan for the next 90 days, right? So you want to make sure that everybody shows up on the ready, right? So when we talk about assess, plan, prepare, execute, assess, repeat, man, there's a lot of planning and preparing that comes into play here, but don't skip that first one, assess. We want to look back at the last 3 months or maybe 3 years and say, where have we won? And what have we learned? Man, we've learned a lot in the last year and a half, right? Specifically around this thing called marketing, right? So it's all about lead generation. It's all about recognizing that marketing is a message and we are the messengers, right? So it's like messaging across multiple formats and platforms, different tactics and strategies to get the message, to get the truth, to get the chiropractic story out to the community. Now, is it inward facing where we're doing internal marketing to our existing patient base and their friends and family? Is it external marketing where we're offline and we are out in the community and we're doing outside talks and dinner talks and corporate wellness and spinal screenings and networking, et cetera? Is it online and digital marketing, right? Where we're leveraging email marketing and SEO, our website, search, and of course, social media, right? So all of these digital methodologies just to do the exact same thing, which is the biggest thing, which is getting the message out, getting the truth out to the community. This is where we get everybody together and we discuss 4 things. We discuss the marketing plan. We say, okay, this is what we're going to do moving forward in those 3 domains of marketing: internal, external, and digital. We want to have multiple streams of new patients coming into the practice. We want to have 3 tributaries into this river of new patients coming into the practice. We want to do that deliberately with a plan. We're going to talk about the marketing calendar, which is how is this going to land on a calendar? Exactly what we're going to be doing when, what are we going to be focusing on? And then the most important question, which is marketing team, which is who is going to do what, right? And who's going to be accountable to us reaching those goals by driving those activities. And then the last question, which is what's our marketing budget, right? So, which is a big part of making that investment of our time, energy, focus, and money to drive these outcomes.
You know, when you were talking about all of this, I get so fired up because, you know, you just laid out for everyone just a really nice framework and it's really organized. So hopefully you guys jotted that down because that was gold. But I actually pulled, when you were talking, I pulled out my my journal, right? So it's part of our Remarkable CEO program. If you're not a part of that, by the way, you should check it out. But we've got some really amazing tools. And one of the tools that we created that's exclusive for our docs in our program is the CEO Quarterly Marketing Report. I love this report, Dr. Stephen. I love the marketing report. I love when we meet on the marketing report because this is also, we position it in such a way where this would be something that would be completed, right, for your board meeting, right? This is actually prepared for your board meeting as part of the assess so that you can do a really great job planning and preparing, because that's what this is going to be a meeting about. You're really going to spend a lot of the time planning and preparing. And so in order to do that successfully, you've got to have a report. You've got to have a report of your marketing. And so what we created was what's called the Quarterly Marketing Report for the CEO. And this is absolute gold. And what I have found, Dr. Stephen, is just having a framework, a way to organize all of that activity in a one page, and all of that went on over the last 3 months. Think of all the things that had to happen, you know, that did happen over the last 90 days. To have it just organized in one place on a tool like this, it's just so powerful. And what we have found is that the CEOs who are using the tools, using the framework, organizing their business, this is a lot lighter lift. Because actually, the first thing I thought about when you said all that was like, yeah, that sounds really heavy. That sounds kind of hard. I don't know if I want to do it. That was what I was thinking. So I'm just, if I'm anybody else listening out there resonate with me.
Here's a few words from our newest podcast sponsors. We're grateful for their support of the show. One of our core values at the Remarkable Practice is innovation. And that's one reason why we love partnering with SKED, who is dedicated to helping chiropractors connect and communicate better by using innovative technology that's easy to use. SKED allows chiropractors to connect to every patient through their mobile phone like never before, increasing conversion, retention, and reactivations, all with less work. Software can seem complicated to start, so the team at SKED does all the work to get you set up and running as quickly and efficiently as possible. SKED does the hard work for you. To request a demo, go to www.sked.life. That's SKED.life. Our friend Derek Van Ness from Big Life Financial recently informed us that most doctors are overpaying taxes, an average of $11,000 per $100,000 of income. That's crazy. At TRP, we say you need to systematize everything. And the truth is, Doc, if you don't have a system to save and grow wealth, you will never get ahead financially. Big Life Financial does tax and financial strategy for small business owners, helping you keep more of what you make and be smarter with it. Research and development, credit filings, tax strategy and savings, financial strategies, including cash flow banking, are all things our friend Derek Van Ness and Big Life Financial can help you with. Go to biglifefinancial.com to learn more. And now let's jump right back into our conversation.
But Pete, this is a perfect example of the hard easy. Okay. So the hard easy is like, do the front end investment, right? So suck it up, sit down with maybe your marketing director and your previous marketing calendars and outcomes, and put that plan together, put that calendar together, and you just do it one time, and it just keeps paying you in dividends for 90 days. You can do it that way so that you have the peace and the prosperity that comes with preparation, or you can show up every Monday going, holy crap, what are we talking about this week? We need more new patients. What are we going to do for marketing? What is wrong with you guys? Why is everything so last minute and stressed out? Why didn't that last campaign work, right? Because everything is done last minute, it's rushed. And I'll argue that you spend just as much time, energy, focus, and money, but it's usually playing problem whack-a-mole, trying to fill in the gaps of where your practice is underperforming versus the creative process of creating, the remarkable practice.
Yeah. And so I just want to throw this out there too. If some of you are looking for some help and you need help with this, and you're not in our Remarkable Academy, we've got, every week our team is going in and they're helping you with this. We've got, the Marketing Mondays, the Tactical Thursdays. It's been, so if you haven't taken advantage of some of the resources that in the Remarkable Practice we provide, because we know this is I'm not going to say it's a moving target, but it is like you're after what we went through last year, and then all the changes, what's happening with Facebook? What's happening?
What's happening now? What's working now? Marketing is a moving target. Absolutely.
It's a moving target. So we're trying to move with you. So we're in it. So we feel it too. So there are some things that are just best practices that work, and those things have stood the test of time, but how you do them is is changed now, right? Internal marketing, how you internal market has changed. It's taken on a different structure now. And so with that, we also want to make sure we're innovating. It's one of our core values in our organization is innovation. Innovating simply means I'm staying relevant with the time. So I continue to get my message into the market and I reach the right people at the right time. That's why we have to innovate. Otherwise you swing and you miss, you swing and you miss, you swing and you miss. Like, why are we missing? This used to work. Exactly. It used to work. Doesn't work anymore. And having this marketing meeting, it gives you an opportunity to look at, okay, I've assessed what I've done. All right. And I need to come with a plan. So I'm going to encourage you to check out the TRP, get in the TRP groups and check out what we're putting out there when it comes to the marketing. I think that's been a huge win. I know a lot of docs that are following those every week, and having their marketing director do that has been really important, Dr. Stephen. I think that's been a huge value we added just even this year.
It's a great suggestion. It's a good part of this conversation. So let's put a link in there in the show notes for how to learn more about how do I get enrolled in the Remarkable Practice Academy? How do I get access to the Remarkable Practice Facebook forums for the DCs and the CAs, which is where all this marketing training is happening. All right. So we don't want to just give you guys a bunch of homework to do and not come alongside you and help you with training and resources and processes, procedures, scripts, et cetera. It's all in there. So all right, guys, so let's dial it back to this meeting. So now we're talking about the fourth of 4 board meetings. These are done every quarter, right? So we're going to have a 3-year view of our business, but a 3-month focus when it comes to our goals. We always have our marketing calendar done 12 months ahead, and it can be higher level, but we want to be extraordinarily detailed, total clarity around exactly what we're doing over the next 90 days. So that needs to be your CEO standard. Remember, clarity determines how fast and how far we'll go. Clarity is your greatest accelerant, right? So you want to make sure that not only you see it in your mind's eye, but actually everybody on your team can see it, not because they have to imagine it, but because they can look at it, right? And that's the power of having a marketing plan that's written out. This is what we're doing internally. This is where we're going to focus. This is what we're going to do externally. This is where we're going to focus. This is what we're going to be doing digitally, and this is where we're going to focus. Don't take on too much. This is an example of what we call stacking. Master one thing and then stack something else on top of there. So I'd rather see you go deep with the oil well than just moving it around every quarter and not really getting down to the gold, right? So we want to make sure that we are just stacking initiatives, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, right? This worked, add it to the next thing. This didn't work, either you're going to innovate it and change it, or dump it, right? And move on to something else, right? So that's putting together the marketing plan. Once you've decided this is what we're going to focus on, this is what we're going to do, now it's when are we going to do it, right? So, and that's when you use your marketing calendar. The marketing calendar should be a visual representation of like, okay, we're coming up into third quarter right now. So let's talk about July, August, September. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to be focusing on. Establishing rhythms where you say maybe like, we're going to lean in hardcore in internal marketing in July. And then we're going to go hardcore on external marketing in August. And then we're going to go hardcore on digital marketing in September, or whatever your logic is around that. I love having that rhythmic where we're 100% going hardcore on digital in September and maybe at 60% speed for internal and external, right? So you have this nice rhythm in your practice. That is an example of having a plan that has a rhythm built into it. So you're conveying to your team, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to focus. And this is when we're going to do it. So I could walk into your office and I should be able to look at your marketing calendar and I can see exactly what you're focusing on, what's important here, what's important now, what's important next, looking at your marketing saying, okay, I see what you're doing internally, externally, and digitally.
And one of the values of this is, and again, so there are seasons in practice. There are like, you might have a change in your staff. You may have a change in your life. I remember, there was seasons when I was doing a lot. And then there were seasons where I said, I'm going to pull back. Like we were doing a screening every weekend and we were doing an advanced talk every month. And we were doing a dinner or 2 dinners every month. And we were doing, corporate lunch once a week. It was like, and then there became this thing where my team, we would, in these meetings, you assess and you look at your calendar like, guys, we are doing too much. We're not doing anything great. We're doing everything okay. And everybody is running on fumes. So the beauty of this, having this view is you can actually look at it. And that was more my issue. Not that I did too much marketing, but we had so much marketing going on that there were times where we had to pull back. Now, some of you may look at your calendar and it's pretty blank out there. And you're like, well, I got to fill it in with some stuff. So you need ideas. That's what we're saying. Hey, poke us. We'll give you some ideas. We got no problem. There's no shortage of ideas. But the reality is the view, having this view, like you said, Dr. Stephen, if I walked into your practice right now, I'm like, all right, guys, it's one of the first things I want to look for. Where's the marketing calendar? Can I see it? It's on the wall somewhere, right? It's got to be somewhere posted.
Next to the training calendar.
Right next to the training calendar. Like I want to see, and I don't want to just see this week. Can I see the next 3 months and kind of the next year? Can I look at that? Always on the wall. And you might say, on the wall, Dr. Pete, that's old school, man. Everything is digital. Right. You know what I'm going to tell you? Old school's new school.
That's right.
Put it on the wall. I want it in both places. Yes, I want your Google document, all very nice and organized. I want that. Yeah, I want to see the wall one. I want to see the wall one, dude. I want to see
nowhere to hide.
Erasers. I want to see things crossed out. I want to see colors and circles. I want to see it. I want that. Why? Because marketing is real. It's real life grind. It's in the hustle. It's in the thing. It's blood, sweat, and tears. It is what it is. And if I don't feel it, I don't see it, I don't know, man, something's missing. So I don't know, Dr. Stephen, I don't know why I'm feeling to go down this path with this conversation, but to me, it's like, guys, we've got to get marketing. And again, it can be a lonely road. You'd be like, well, I carry it. Because some of you, as you talked about the 3 of the 4 things, the marketing director, you're listening to us. I'm like, well, that's me right now. And you're feeling like you're carrying this weight. Maybe you don't have a marketing director. Maybe you are the marketing director. And for many CEOs, this is maybe one of the last frontiers that you're holding on to, you haven't let go of yet, for whatever reason. And we're just here to say, we got
or
you.
maybe you won't let go of
Yeah,
it.
maybe
Maybe
you
you've
won't.
decided, as a CEO, one of my 3 bullets on my job description is marketing and new business
Yeah.
development. Awesome. I mean, I know I never let go of marketing. So,
Right.
it was patient care, team training, and marketing. Those were my 3 bullets. I never let go of patient care. I never let go of team training, and I never let go of marketing. So I just want to give everybody permission to know that you don't have to go there. If you're going to hold on to that role of marketing director, just make sure you own it. You're accountable to that, right? So doesn't mean you have to do everything. You just need to make sure that everything gets done, right? So you'll have somebody who owns internal marketing. Somebody's accountable to internal lead generation. Who is it on your team?
Yes.
Somebody's accountable to external lead generation. Who is it on your team? Somebody's accountable to digital lead generation. Who is it on your team? Now, you might have a marketing director that runs your digital marketing team of experts. Like, your marketing director is probably not in charge of SEO optimization on your website, right? And they might not be. They might be leading a team of experts that have, this is my search team. This is my Facebook ads team, my Google ads team. This is the person that does my content marketing, right? So this is the person that runs our YouTube channel, right? So whatever it happens to be, it's like they're coordinating a team of people, but somebody on your team owns that. They're accountable to lead generation.
And I want you guys to have fun with this. Like, marketing can be a pain point, and it can be hard, but we can decide to have fun with it. So market in a way that makes sense to you. Like, one of the things I love is testimonials. I love getting, testimonials from patients and stories. And that was invigorating to me. I was like, you know what? I don't want to just be writing articles and talking about how chiropractic can help with headaches. As much as I like doing that, I would much rather hear from somebody who it happened for them. And I would much rather feature that and get that message out. And so that was, so what is it that you love to do? Like, I love to speak. So if you love doing that, then put that into your calendar. Like, make that be the priority of what your marketing is doing, right? So I love doing dinners. Why? Because I love eating. And I think people like to eat. And I think it's an easy thing. So I like the dinner model. I like lunch. So let's do a talk over lunch, right? Because it's easy. Everybody has to eat. They're going to be there anyway. Might as well listen to me talk about what we do, right? So do marketing that you enjoy doing, that's effective. And again, effective is a big word, because you might say, well, initially I wasn't very effective, and over time I became more effective. Great. It's mastery. You got to start somewhere. So, but when you look at your marketing, does it excite you? Does it inspire you? Does it also challenge you to be like, we got to get our stuff done? Like, I know I felt my feet were always into the fire. My team would be like, when are you going to get us the flyer with all the talk points for the next workshop coming up? Because we need to know, like, what to talk about to people when they come in at the front desk. And I'm like, I got to get you guys the talk points for that. So that became one of my things. I always had to have my feet to the fire. Like, I was like, we just finished the work. So now my best practice was, all right, as soon as we finish a workshop, because we do them every month, I already had my next workshop. I had to have one slide on the deck for the next one. So we always got people set up. And that was on me, because otherwise, if it wasn't done by that date, we were always like at least a week behind, and they'd be like, Dr. P, I need the freaking stuff. I can't get the flyer. And I'm like, oh my God. So here we are. Everybody, and here we are fighting as a team, because we're just trying to help more people, but we're beating each other up. So you got to figure it out. Like, what are the rhythms that in your calendar, make it fun, enjoy it, man. You got to work the system. You got to be held accountable. Dr. I'm throwing a bunch of stuff out there.
Yeah,
I know.
all right. So yeah, you guys listen to Dr. Pete. I mean, you can tell this guy loves marketing. He wants to talk about marketing. Let's pull this thing back to the board meeting on the Remarkable Marketing Machine, right? So, you guys, we've done 15 episodes on different types of marketing. Let's talk about how do you execute this meeting, this very specific meeting. And remember, it's not just about what excites you, it's what excites your team. So we want to energize your team. Remember, we just scared the crap out of them at the last meeting saying, this is where we're going to go. We set stretch goals, right? They was like, man, wow, that's going to take our best work. We've got them inspired now, and they're more confident. They believe us, but we don't want believers. We want understanders, right? We want to be able to say, now let me show you how we're going to get there, right? And that's when you're going to get buy-in, right? So because now you're starting to divvy up the responsibilities. You're starting to show them, it's like, okay, so you're going to be in charge of this. you're accountable to this, and you own that, right? So now we start divvying it up in such a way that as a team, everybody sees, wow, many hands make light work. Together we go further. Like everybody starts to see, wow, the reality is those goals are achievable. And I can see that calendar, although it sounds like we're doing a lot, sounds like we've got a lot of moving parts. Now that I see it as a calendar, and now that we're starting to talk about accountabilities, these things start landing on people's scorecards. They start landing on the scoreboard to create those levels of accountability. And we see, wow, over the next 13 weeks, man, we can get a lot done. Dr. Pete, I know you feel like I do on this, is I think everybody overestimates what they can do in a day, but they underestimate what they can do in a quarter, right? So your team is the same way. We've got to get them focused and just recognize, all right, so does everybody see what we're going to do together over the next 90 days to achieve those goals, right? And then what we're going to do is we're just going to keep chunking it down. And we're not going to put all the weight of this onto this one meeting. What we're going to do is we're going to double back and we're going to keep revisiting this. You're going to see it showing back up into our meeting rhythms. It's going to come up every week, right? Excuse me, every month at the monthly marketing meeting, right? So we're going to be revisiting this, what we decided and committed to do. We're going to do assess, plan, prepare, execute, and then we're going to assess again, how are we doing so far? Are we on track? Are we doing what we said we're going to do this quarter, right? Are we hitting our goals? Are we trending properly? And then every week, we're going to be talking about this at our weekly marketing meeting and also at team meeting when we're looking up at the scoreboard. So we're never taking our eyes off of this. And finally, it's going to hit the daily meeting rhythms with our pre-shift huddles, right? So every huddle, we're going to be able to say, guys, remember, this is what we're talking about this week. This is what we're promoting. This is where we're inviting everybody to. So guys, do you see how I just landed that for you right now? Okay, so that's your job in this board meeting, is you've got to make sure that you get them to the point where they're like, okay, you got our buy-in on the goals. It's going to take our best work. Now, what does that best work look like when it comes to marketing, right? So the Remarkable Marketing Machine is your chance as the CEO, as the COO, as the marketing director to get it out of your head and into theirs so that you can say to your team, shut your eyes. I want you to see what I see.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.